Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video. So you join me in front of the two minis that we have on the drive. So I think in the last video you saw that we had the R52 convertible. That's long gone. That was sold on and gone to a new owner. So GP needs to get its MOT sorted, get that back on the road. Haven't really used it much after the Alps, took it here and there. Life's been a bit busy and hectic, so the F56 has been the workhorse as well as the van. So doing lots of bits. Now I've been out of action for the last couple of months. I've been a little bit ill, but I'm feeling much better now, which brings me on to today's video and the subject of it. Obviously you've seen from the thumbnail, we've got a new project today. And the inspiration for this project comes from the GP. So we took the GP out to the Alps this year and had an absolute amazing time. And what it made me want to do is actually learn to drive fast. Now this is good on the road for doing that. However, these are becoming rarer and rarer. So when you see things like the front bumper, side skirt, rear bumper, it's all rare parts. If I crash this, I can't get hold of most of these parts. They're unique to the GP. Many have stopped making most of the bits now for this. That is my daily. That gets me to work and back. So I don't want to risk it. So we've got a new project today that I want to introduce to you, show you, because it's something I want to learn to drive in. So it's going to be a car to take to the Alps. It's going to be a car to take to the track. It's not going to be an ugly car because it's my build. Hopefully you'll like the look of it as well. And we'll do a bit of performance, a bit of looks, and get a good mix. I've lost literally 2 months because I've had COVID and suffered quite badly from it. So you can probably still hear it in my voice. I've still got, I think, some of the symptoms of long COVID going on. So I haven't been the best, but I've just spent a week in the sun. Hopefully that's dried me out a little bit. Probably sound a little bit out of breath, so apologies if that's annoying in these videos, but unfortunately I'm still struggling a bit with my breathing. But I wanted to keep the videos going and get some new content up because I've missed a few months now in terms of uploading content. So where did the idea come from? So I've said obviously the GP is the inspiration. We were at the top of the Alps one day and I got chatting to Ollie at Orange Performance. He let me know that he actually had a car that for him was a test mule for some of the parts that they develop. So we took a look at that. He offered me that free of charge. So I've known Ollie a long time. It was something that was in the way, didn't really know what to do with. It was a bit in rough shape. So I'm going to show you that car now, do a bit of a walk around and introduce you to the new build on the channel. Okay, so welcome to my new R53. So Ollie messaged me, gave me a bit of a walk around video, told me the complete honest truth in terms of this car. Yes, it is rough around the edges, and as you get a little bit closer, I'll show you some of the rough bits around it, but it is an R53. It is a facelift car, and the main gubbins that we need for what I want with this car are here. So you can see, probably picking up on camera, the paint is atrocious. So, but again, I knew all of this. Ollie gave it me for free, so I certainly can't complain in terms of it. It's very mossy, it's very dirty. It's lived outside by the looks of it most of its life, probably been parked in the ocean by the underneath of it. Now Ollie again was completely truthful, but it's free of charge, can't complain. In terms of explaining, it really is a rough car. Now, what are the positives with it? One, it's an R53, it's got a complete engine. Two, it's got a facelift interior that is immaculate. Three, it moves under its own power. It does drive. Yes, there are a couple of issues with the engine that we need to look into, but again, that's all part of the journey that we're going to go on with this R53 build. So let's bring the camera in and I'll show you close up. Okay, so let's check out this car. So you can see the front end's missing. We've got all the crash bars and everything. Bumpers wise, I've not decided what I want to do yet, but that's fine. You can see the wheels and tyres aren't the greatest, but again, as you'd expect, I'm not keeping any of that. Okay, so let's get that bonnet open. And we've got an engine. Full engine, not 100% happy. So it runs, it doesn't sound good, there's compression issues. But I've got an engine stand. And we're going to get that engine out, flip it over and start working on it. You can see it is crusty as hell underneath, but none of this is staying. You can see loads of tape on the bodywork where the windows weren't working, so Ollie just taped it up so the water didn't get inside. Tyres gone, wheels, we could probably sell them on once we're done. This back end is rough. If you see here, you get that corrosion that you're starting to see on a lot of the first gens now. So water's getting in under the seam, under the lights, and rotting it from the inside out, but that's something that can be resolved, whether it's a bit of welding, etc. So we go under the car, can't really see too much, but it's as crusty as you'd expect with the outside being this bad. Battery's dead on it, but you can see loads of lacquer peel. The red's really suffered on this generation. But if you come inside, it needs a clean, but it's got a full interior, facelift interior with the chrono pack, aircon. Everything's here, present and working. So even the sunroof all works. So you can see it's rough around the edges. It was free. It's an R53. What more could you want as a start of a project? Okay, so now we come to the real negative of this car. So obviously as I've walked around, showing you the rust, underneath is crusty. When I say it's crusty, it looks like it's been parked in the ocean. This car, yeah, it's an R53, the interior is good, facelift, there's lots of bits to raid off it. I think we've got to make a decision with this car, and we made that decision very quickly. And this is where my second partner in crime come in. So obviously Ollie donated this car to the channel so that we could get an R53 built. I then had a conversation with Richard Everett, so some of you may know him from his links to Orange. Obviously he's got the roof chop Mini. He gave me a phone call to say, we've got that crusty shell. I know where there's a perfectly good shell. And when we say perfectly good, we mean garaged its entire life. Not a single dent, not a single piece of rust or anything. It's an R50. It's got a blown engine, so the engine's no good. But the shell is immaculate. Underneath is immaculate, brake lines, immaculate, literally. It looks like it's had such an easy life. We know it was kept in a garage its entire life. It was a parts car for Rich to get his roof chop finished. So it's been cut up inside, and we'll talk you through in a second. But I think that car is perfect to combine with this car and keep one Mini on the road, because this was destined for the scrapyard. Ollie was going to scrap this, but I think we can rescue the interior. Parts, as you can see, are already stripped off it. That's because some of those have already gone to help others keep their cars on the road. So this car is going to help bring to life the R50 that I'm going to show you now. Right, you've got to excuse the mess because I haven't felt well and I need to get in here sorted. So for the next few videos, you'll notice it's a hell of a lot tidier because I've put some time aside. But welcome to the second car of today's video. So we've got this R50, and if you can see, not a single spot of rust. That paintwork is absolutely immaculate on this car. We go underneath. Everything's nice and clean, tidy. Obviously, the exhaust and everything's going to go. We don't need the wheels or anything else, but we have a super clean shell. Now you can see this is all stripped out. That's because I've been working on this in the background. I'm going to insert some clips now in terms of stripping this car down so you can see what we've done so far. Okay, and if we walk around, we can see we've got a chili red R50, so it's a pre-facelift. Rich Everett's already helped me pull out the engine, so we took the engine out, so that's gone and out the way. You can see it's looking very sorry for itself at the moment up on these jacks. But why is it in this state? So obviously I mentioned the R53 engine's going to come into this engine bay. Now this again was the donor car, so when we start to look at bits of the loom, it's been chopped to pieces, so the loom is no good. Hence why the dashers had to come out and all the interior, so we can get to this loom to get it out. So this entire loom is going to come out. So we are going to engine swap this R50, put an R53 engine in, an R53 loom, all the air conditioning, everything out of the other car can go into this one. So it's going to be one hell of a project. It's going back to a complete bare shell. So you see this in a future video. None of this is going to be here because we're also going to be painting this car. The red isn't staying. I know it's a shame because it's in good condition. However, it's just, for me, I just don't fancy a red Mini. I want to go something different and unique. So once we've stripped all of this out, we're actually going to be painting this in-house. So I'm actually going to be getting a paint booth, and Rich Everett's going to help me paint this car. So we'll even cover that on the channel as well and bring you guys along for the journey. Before people start shouting at me and telling me you don't need to swap this loom to do an R53 swap, I completely agree with you. The reason the loom is coming out is purely because it's been cut up. Rich Everett needed lots of connections and bits of wires to fix his other car. So what we've done is made the decision to just strip it out, because we've got that R53. We can literally put that car next to this one, strip the dash, the loom, the facelift interior, and plant it into here. So this will be a full face lifted car on the interior. Fresh, brand new loom. Well, in terms of brand new to me loom anyway, going into it as well. And obviously we've got the engine bay now. All of this is going to be completely stripped back. So when we paint it, the whole engine bay is going to be painted. We're not half doing this. We're going to paint it properly, get everything out, so it'll be a full colour change going onto this R53. Now my plan is, I've already set a bar in terms of my green R53 that you guys know. You're telling me that was a high bar. I love that car. We've got to try and beat that in terms of building a car that is up to my standard, finish that I like, and the look that I want, as well as the performance. So we're going to get a mixed bag. Now, first question you'll all ask is it going on air? Because obviously the last 2 or 3 minis I've done are on air. This isn't. This is having coilovers 100%. This car is going to be made to be driven fast, and I need to learn to drive fast. I myself know I'm not the best driver. I want to make sure that I get some time out on the road and on track to learn how to drive this thing quickly. So I'm not going to go for super duper power to start with, just some basic mods in terms of pulley, intercooler, etc. I want to learn how to drive this fast. So it's getting good tyres, it's getting decent wheels, and it's getting decent suspension and brakes. So I have already filmed lots of videos in terms of stripping this car, how to remove the different parts that I haven't already covered on my channel. So we've got the rear bumper, we've got the wing, we've got lots coming in terms of how to remove the A panels, everything else. So there'll be lots of how-to videos coming over the next 12 months in terms of this, and we will cover what we're doing and how we're doing it, just not necessarily into the depth of every nut and bolt. So you guys will get an idea. If you want to do an engine swap, what do you need to buy to do it? Why are we going for a swap of the full loom? Can you just get away with doing an engine loom, etc.? We'll all cover that in a future video, and Rich Everett's going to help me do certain bits of that, like the engine work and things like that. So you'll probably see him pop in and out of the videos as well. So I also just want to say a massive thank you to Rich Everett and to Ollie Mortimer from Orange Performance, because without them this project wouldn't be happening. They've obviously supplied the cars. I'm going to now do the build itself. Now for me, I want to do as much of this as possible. With my R53, obviously I did a lot of work with Jason at Mills's Autos. However, I want to try and see how much of this I can do myself. So I've already removed an engine, want to learn how to bleed brakes and clutches and things like that. They're the bits that I don't tend to do myself. I don't trust myself. I'm going to learn how to do that and bring you guys along for the ride. Some of it I'll sort of do how-to videos. Others, obviously, if it crosses my line of some things, I just don't feel safe sometimes teaching people how to bleed brakes, because things can really go wrong if I get the advice wrong. Whereas if I tell you how to remove a rear bumper, what's the worst can happen? If I teach you how to bleed your brakes and I get it wrong or you get it wrong, obviously that can cause some big issues. So for me, that's why you don't ever see those sort of videos on my channel. But I'm really excited to get going on this build. Okay, so if you found today's video entertaining, please hit that thumbs up button. It really helps the channel. Subscribe so you get updates when we upload new content. So there's going to be lots of how-to videos and lots of updates in terms of the build of, well, more the Cooper, but obviously this is going to be going into that to make that work. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.